So, please come to stand, and initially have your feet together, and then take your toes apart and bring your heels more or less in line with your toes. And once you have that alignment, just notice where the weight is going down into the feet. And just with your arms comfortably by the side, just lean forward as a piece until you feel the weight coming into your 10 toes, and then lean back as a piece until you feel the weight coming into the heels. So once more, just looking forward on your horizon, leaning forward until you feel the weight is in the 10 toes, and then lean back as a piece towards the heels. Good. And then see if you can just go forwards and backwards a few times in your own time. Just nice, easy breathing. Again, looking as much as possible forward on your horizon so that you know when the weight is in the 10 toes, and then you know when the weight is more in the heels. And then think you have a laser pointer going out the crown of the head. Could you lean over towards the right foot, come forward into the toes, the right toes, go round to the left toes, and then back towards the left heel. Continue the circle round into the right heel, forward into the right toes, go round in a circle towards the left toes, and then back towards the left heel, and then come forward again into the left toes, around in a circle to the right toes, back in a circle towards the right heel, and round into the left heel. Good. And then come to centre. And now this time, keeping the head more or less where it is, can you move the pelvis over towards the right heel, let it come forward in a circle towards the right toes, round towards the left toes, back towards the left heel, and then continue. So this is a circle really coming from the pelvis, as if you've got a hula hoop on, just going round in a circle, but this time keeping the head more or less in the middle. So we're not tilting this time, but moving the pelvis round. And then just reverse the direction of these circles. Again, it's more the pelvis that is tracing these circles. Good. And then come back to centre, and then bring your pelvis and weight over onto the right foot. You can have your right hand just on the side of the waist, and then take the weight more back towards the right heel, and then see, can you just make some small circles as if you're tracing the circumference of the heel, an outline of pressure into the mat, but staying on the right heel, and then just reverse the direction of those circles. So nice, easy breathing, keeping the head and eyes looking forward. Good. And then pause, bring the weight over onto the left leg, again find the heel with the pelvis, and then just make some circles around that heel, the pressure just going around the circumference of the heel in one direction, and then just reverse the direction of those circles. Just nice, easy breathing. Good. And then pause, come back to centre, and then just standing with the arms comfortably by your side, could you lift the 10 toes and then try to put them down individually from the little toe through to the big toe. And then once more, lift the 10 toes, try to put them down, little Mexican way from the little toe to the big toe. And then pause, try and press down the big toes to lift the 4 smaller toes, and then press down the 4 smaller toes to lift the big toes. So once more, pressing down the big toe pads to lift the 4 smaller toes, try to press down the 4 smaller toes to lift the big toe. and then leave that alone and try and curl all 10 toes under and then release. So you're just scrunching up the 10 toes and release, and then once more just scrunching up the 10 toes, good, and release. And then stay, and then just lift the big toe sides of the feet to bring the weight onto the little toe sides, and then lift the little toe sides of the feet to bring the weight onto the big toe sides. So once more, lifting the big toe sides to bring the weight onto the outside edge of the foot, lifting the outside edge to bring the weight onto the big toe side, and then stay on the big toe side of the foot and just take a few steps forward and back, not too many, but feel when this happens, and a lot of people do walk like this, how the weight is kind of pounding down into the inside of the knee and the ankle, and then stay, and then just roll the weight once more to the outside and to the inside edge, and this time stay on the outer edge of the foot. And again, just notice how what this tends to do is, apart from turning the knees out, bringing the weight more to the outside of the knee, and then just release once more, just roll from the inside edge to the outside edge. And then this time, see if you can come right up onto the balls of the feet, so more like toe walking, and then just take a few steps forward and backwards, good, and then release, good, and then just roll the feet again from side to side, just to kind of get rid of that, and then come up onto the heels this time, and again just take a few steps around, being more on the heels, but just careful that you're not leading this with the elbows to try and balance through the elbows, good, and then please leave that alone and just do a few more rollings from one side to the other. And then please just bring your right toes forward, just tapping the foot, the toes on the mat, and then bring the heel down. So just the toes coming forward, and then the heel, the toes, the heel, the toes, the ball of the foot, the heel, the ball of the foot, and then the toes. Good. And then leave that alone, and please bring your left toes forward, and then the heel, and then the toes, and then the heel, and then the toes, followed by the ball of the foot, the toes, the heel, the ball of the foot, the heel, and then the toes. Good. And then please leave that alone. Good. And then bring your right foot just slightly forward, and see, could you bring the little toe side down, lift the heel high, and then bring the inner side down. So you're lifting the heel high, bringing the outside of the heel down, lifting it high and bringing the inner edge of the foot down. So just once more, the inner edge, lift the heel high, the outer edge, good, and then come back to centre. And then please bring your left foot slightly forward, so the heel is high, and then just try to bring the inside edge of the heel down, and then the outside edge of the heel down. So inside edge, and you'll notice, if you can see me on the screen, how of course my pelvis is moving across to facilitate that, the whole of the body just transferring to help bring the one edge down and then the other. Good. And then pause. This time take your right heel behind you slightly, and you lift the heel as high as possible, and then aim the outside edge of the heel towards the floor and then the inside edge of the floor, but you're not actually touching. And just notice, if you're keeping the heel high, how you're massaging the front of the balls of the feet, the 5 balls of the toes. Those are being pressed a little bit more firmly as you make this arc in space. Good. And then pause, and then have your left heel, left leg behind you slightly, but keep the heel high, And just think the inside edge, the outside edge is going towards the floor, but not to touch for this one. So you're keeping the heel high. So you're just sort of pressing into the fronts of the balls of the toes. Good. And then pause. And then once more take your right leg behind you, and this time the heel is lower, and try to bring the outside edge, the inside edge of the heel towards the floor. And just notice how this time the weight is more to the back of the ball of the foot, to the side that's, for me, that's closest to the camera. Just massaging that area into the floor. Good. And then leave that alone. And then take your left leg behind you slightly. Keep the heel fairly low this time, and then try to bring the inside edge, the outside edge of the heel towards the floor. Just nice, easy breathing, jaw nice and relaxed. Good. And then just one more time. Good. And then release. Good. Just notice how a bit more alive the feet are feeling. Have the arms just comfortably by your side, and then begin to just draw the shoulders up towards the ears and let them fall away from the ears. So you're just drawing the shoulders up towards the ears and then letting them fall away from the ears, and then once more just shrugging them up towards the ears and then letting them fall away from the ears. Now the next time, as you draw the shoulders up, just again be careful you're not doing this, you're not lifting the elbows to try and achieve this. It's shoulders up towards the ears. Try to roll the shoulders forward, down, squeeze them together behind you. Come all the way up towards the ears, forward, squeeze them together behind you. Just once more up towards the ears, roll them forward, squeeze together behind you, and then reverse. So you come up towards the ears again, just careful you're not substituting the elbows. Draw the shoulders together behind you and down. Come forward, up towards the ears, squeeze them together behind you, and once more forward, up towards the ears, squeeze them together behind you, and release. Now bring the fingertips onto the shoulders, and then just try to circle the elbows together. Now as you take them wide, think of drawing the shoulder blades, squeezing them together to facilitate that. So again, forward, squeeze the shoulders to take the elbows wide, and forward, and once more squeezing the shoulders to come forward. Now reverse, so up, squeeze the shoulders to take the elbows behind. Once more, again, make sure your shoulders are included in that movement. And then one more time, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Good, and then release. Now just bring the back of the palm of one hand to the back of the head. Check that your elbow is slightly in front of the line of the body, and then think you're just brushing the back of the head with the palm, and reach the arm up and out. Good. And then alternate the hands. So you're brushing, and then as you reach out, try to touch the ceiling. So can you see I'm shifting my weight over onto that leg, and then allowing, so my opposite heel just lifts slightly so that you're reaching the arm with the whole of the skeleton, the whole of the body. So just nice easy movements. That's it. Trying to touch the ceiling. You can even look up to see whether you're managing to do that, to see where the arm is going. Just once more, either side. Good. And then release. Good. Now pause and bring your left arm out to the side. And when it gets to shoulder height, try to roll the shoulder back. and then extend the arm up towards the ceiling. So again, you try to touch the ceiling first, bring the hand to the opposite side of the head, let the weight come back onto the two legs, bring your other hand onto the forearm, and now think of pressing down into your left heel in particular as you go up and over in an arc. That's it. So my weight now has shifted more onto my left leg, so really lengthen out that side, good, and then release. Good. And then bring your other arm out to the side, roll the shoulder back to turn the palm towards the ceiling, because you don't want to be lifting the arm by doing this, you want it to be the skeleton that's supporting the bringing of the hand to the opposite side of the head, and then bring the other hand just to support, and think of pressing down into your right leg as you go up and over. So we're not collapsing, not pushing out into the hip, really trying to lengthen and open those ribs on the right hand side, good, and then release. And now once more, take your left arm out to the side, roll the shoulder, so you include the shoulder, and then try to touch the ceiling. So you see how my right heel lifts to facilitate that. Try and take hold of your wrist with the other hand, and then think of pressing down again into your left leg as you try to reach over towards the right. But notice I'm not pushing out into the hip, trying to keep the weight on that left leg, and then release. And then bring your other arm out to the side, roll the shoulder, try to touch the ceiling first, so you really lengthen that right hand side. You take hold of the wrist with the other hand, and again now really think you're rooting down into your right leg so that you're going up and over. You're not pushing out into the hip to do this. And then bring the arm back up towards the ceiling and release the arm down by the side. Now just very gently sweep your left arm in front of the chest, reach it up to touch the ceiling, and then follow it as it makes a big circle behind you, and then come back to centre. And then the other arm, so you sweep it in front of the chest. Make sure you're not fixing the feet into the floor. So you're trying to embrace the space around you. So once more, reaching up, nice easy movement. Again, careful you're not fixing the feet. And once more, the other side. So just very gently stretching out the pectoral muscles, release. Now pause. Now take both arms up towards the ceiling. Sweep them in an arc behind you and then come back. So it's a stronger stretch for the pectoral muscles because we're involving both arms this time. And then one more time, reaching up towards the ceiling and then release the arms behind you. Now bring your left thumb onto your shoulder, take the elbow towards the ceiling, and then take the elbow behind you, but make sure you're drawing that shoulder back to take the elbow behind you. And then extend the arm just behind you, open the fingers and palms, and then think of rolling the shoulder forward to turn the palm down, and rolling the shoulder to turn the palm up. So you're rolling the shoulder forward to turn the palm down, rolling the shoulder to turn the palm up, just once more rolling forward and release. And now just think of reaching through that arm to the side. You can turn to look towards the arm and then release. And then bring the other thumb to its shoulder, take the elbow towards the ceiling, and think it's the shoulder that's moving back to help the elbow go back. Extend the arm out to the side, open the fingers and palms, and think of rolling the shoulder forward to turn the palm up, rolling the shoulder back to turn the palm up, rolling the shoulder to turn the arm, in rolling the shoulder, and then turn the palm up. And then just think of reaching. So there's someone be up on the mezzanine, you're sort of reaching to try and touch with the hands. Good. And then release. And now imagine you have got a cigar. That's it. Take the elbow up, turn the palm towards the ceiling, and think you're throwing your cigar out to the side. So cigar to the mouth, elbow wide, turn the palm towards the ceiling, and think you're throwing it out to the side. So once more, to the elbow wide, turn the palm towards the ceiling, throw it up and away, and once more, turn, elbow back, throw your cigar away, good, and then release. And now just bring your left arm forward, turning, for me it's the thumb side down, and then bring the arm back, palm up. So you're reaching the arm forward, so it's reaching forward in a tube, and then you're reaching it back. Reaching it forward to turn, and reaching it back. And you can see how far can you reach it forward by bending the knees, and then coming back. Just once more forward, good, and then back, good. And then pause, bring your right arm forward, and again begin to explore reaching it forward as you turn it around itself, and then coming back. Just going forward, how far can you reach it, and then come back. Again forward, good, and then come back, good. And then pause, can you have both arms coming forward, and again, so they're going forward in a tube, and then you're drawing the shoulders back. Forward, turning the arms around themselves, and then coming back. Once more, how far can you comfortably reach them, and then come back. And then this time, take your left arm behind you, just so it might be you only get it comfortably here. So, so you just take it wherever you can comfortably reach it, and then begin to turn the arm around itself, and look to the hand, and then shorten it towards you by turning the hand, but try to keep looking at the hand each time, good, reaching it away and towards you, away and towards you, good. You're just keeping it as high as you can, keeping the hand as soft as possible, so we're really rotating that shoulder to do the work for us. Good. And then please take your right arm behind you. Again, wherever you get is fine. So if it's lower, it's absolutely fine. You're still getting these movements. But if you can have it higher, so much the better. And then begin to keep looking at the hand as you reach it away from you, turning it around itself, and then you're shortening it towards you. So away, and then towards you, good, and away, and then towards you, good, and then once more, away, and then towards you, good, and release. So hopefully those shoulders are feeling a bit looser. And then take both arms behind you. So again, harder to get them higher with both arms, and begin to turn the arms around themselves as you look up, and then shorten the arms towards you as they go the other way. So you're turning the palms in one direction, and then you're feeling how the shoulders are coming towards the ears as you go in the other direction. So away, and then towards you, and away, looking up, extending the spine, good, and then release. Wow. Feel my shoulders waking up beautifully, beautifully. please take your your left arm back up towards the ceiling, and then think you're reaching up to touch the ceiling as you turn the palm in one direction, and then think of keeping the arm as vertical as possible as you rotate it in the other direction. So you're trying to touch the ceiling as you turn the arm in one direction, and then shorten the arm towards you, but keeping it in a tube in the other direction. So once more, just nice easy breathing, reaching, good, and then release. And then please take your other arm up towards the ceiling. First of all, you're trying to see the hand all the time. So you feel how you shift the weight onto that leg to help you reach it as far as possible. And then you're thinking of keeping the arm as vertical as possible as you shorten the arm towards you. Trying to look at the hand all the time. That's it, as you go in one direction and then the other direction. Good. A nice, easy breathing. Good. And then release. Just let the arms rest down by the side for a moment, and then please bring your fingertips together, just resting, then the heel of the hands are apart, and then just think of bringing the palms together as you stretch the fingers forward, and then release. And then try to do the same, pointing them down towards the floor, release, towards me, release, towards the ceiling, release, and then towards yourself, release. So once more towards the ceiling, good, towards me, towards the floor, towards me, towards the ceiling, and then more of an intense stretch for those forearm muscles as you point the fingers towards yourself, release. Now try to press the palms together, but extend the fingers, but keeping the knuckles of the base knuckles pressing together, release. So you're pressing the palms, the heel of the hands together to extend the fingers back, release. Just pressing the palms together to extend the fingers back. And then interlace your hands super softly and begin just to move the hands around each other. So they're just dancing around each other, but feeling how that movement travels into the forearm, the elbows, into the upper arms and into the chest. Good. And then pause and change the interlace so it's your other interlace. And again, just loosely begin to wrestle the hands around each other, just letting that movement flow like liquid through the whole of the arm. Good, release. Now press back the fingers, extend the fingers back and the palms. Keep the elbows in line with the wrists, so not below, equally not above, just in line with the wrists. And think of the elbows just coming towards each other. So you're just keeping the hands soft, release. So you're just thinking of the elbows going towards each other, release. And then turn that around, the other palm combination, keeping the elbows in line with the wrists. And again, just think of the elbows coming towards each other and release. Elbows towards each other, release. Now hook the fingers over each other, again keeping the elbows in line with the wrists, so not below, not above. And again think of your shoulder blades this time, they're squeezing together to help just pull on the fingers slightly and release. So you think it's the shoulder blades that are coming together behind you, not up, but together behind you. Good, and release. Again, just shoulder blades coming together. Good, release. Now take hold of one forearm and then the other forearm, and then just think you're wringing out the bones of the arms. So good, release. Again, just wringing out the bones of the arms. Good, release. And then turn that around Again, just wringing out the bones of the arms, good, and release. Once more, wringing out the bones of the arms. So it's putting what's called an isometric contraction into the muscles that help to pronate and supinate the hands. Good, release. Now bring the elbows to the side of the body and just check as ever. First of all, the weight is in the heels, it's not in the front of the foot, and your elbow is in line with the middle part of the outer shoulder or slightly in front. The thing to watch out for is that you're not doing this, which is pushing the head of the arm bone forward into the shoulder capsule. So just trying to keep that nice and neutral. Hands, palms are open, and then think of just drawing your shoulder blades together, keeping the elbows tucked in as you take the hands wide, and then release. So again, this you initiate by drawing the shoulder blades together, just taking the hands wide, keeping the elbows tucked in. So if you only get them here, keeping the elbows tucked in, that's absolutely fine. As you're just doing this game, draw your attention to this upper arm bone and feel how it's turning. It's turning, externally rotating as you draw the shoulder blades together, and then release. And then pause, turn the palms down, again just careful you've not tucked the elbows behind you. And now draw the shoulder blades together. Can you think of those upper arm bones just rotating, and then release. Again, shoulder blades together, and just feel that turning of the upper arm bone to take the hands wide, release. And then pause, have the palms facing each other, and again think of the shoulder blades, turn the upper arm bones. Now this time, release the shoulder blades, don't try and hold them in position as the hands just come to touch slightly in front of the body and the head, and then you come back to centre. So again, you think of the shoulder blades drawing together, the upper arm bones rotating, and then you release the shoulder blades as the hands come to touch, good, and then you come back to centre, good, and then release. Now please bring both arms out to shoulder height, as if you're maybe have the feet a little bit wider as your palms are up towards the ceiling, and then come back down. Now just have a quick look. What you want to avoid is this to lift the arm. So shoulders are nice and relaxed away from the ears, and it will perhaps help you if you think of the little finger side of the palms turning up towards the ceiling. And then keep your hands as soft as possible. So, and then begin to reach the arms to one side, good, and then towards the other side, good, release. So you're reaching the hands to one side, good, release, and then towards the other side, good, release. Just rest the arms down by your side. Think of rolling the shoulders, turning the little finger size of the arms up towards the ceiling, and then begin to look at the arm that's reaching away from you, and look at the arm that's reaching away from you. Looking towards the hand that's reaching away from you, looking towards the hand that's reaching away from you, and then come back to centre. And then once more, bring the arms up in the same way. And now look at the arm that's shortening, and look at the arm that's shortening. So you're reaching the arms, but looking at the arm that's shortening, and reaching the arms and looking at the arm that's shortening away from you. Good. And then release. And then one more time, take the arms out to the side, and now tilt the head towards the arm, the ear towards the arm that's lengthening, and tilt it towards the arm that's lengthening. So you're reaching the arms as you tilt the head, reaching the arms as you tilt the head. Just once more in either direction. Good. And then release. Good. Now pause. Keep yourself with your feet about hip distance apart. And then really just check that your weight is in the heels. So you'll know it's in the heels if you can easily lift the front of the feet. Good. And now really think of the weight in the front of the feet. Can you look down, squeeze the bottom slightly so that you're rounding the back but keeping the weight in the heels, and then release, just sticking the tailbone, letting the tailbone release. So you're looking down, softening the chest and softening the ribs, but really trying to make sure that this change of position in the back keeps the weight in the heels as you look down. So once more, just looking down, you're letting the back round, the bottom squeezes slightly, as if your tailbone is coming forward between the legs, as you want to look at your tailbone as it protrudes forward. Good. And then release. Now, can you look up slightly so the tailbone sticks out as you're looking up, but again keeping the weight in the heels. So I'm not doing this, trying to keep the weight in the heels and then come forward. And then could you combine this, looking down, so you're rounding the back but keeping the weight in the heels, and then you're looking forward as you release the tailbone and look up as the bottom sticks out slightly to extend the spine. Again, just looking down, the tailbone is curling between the legs, the bottom squeezes, knees just bend slightly, and then you're sticking out the tailbone slightly as you look up. Good. And then release. And then bring the arms out to the side once more. Good. And this time, bring them to touch above you. Good. And then release. So bring the hands up to touch above you. Good. And then release. And as you do this, could you look up, keeping the weight in the heels, and then looking down as you bring the arms back to the side, keeping the weight in the heels. So looking up, as you keep the weight in the heels, looking down as the arms come back down. So my arms just slightly in front of the body, looking up, keeping the weight in the heels, looking down as the arms come back to the side, and then release. And then once more, bring the arms to the side. Now look down as the arms go up, keeping the weight in the heels. Look up as the arms come to the side. So, looking down as the arms go up, keeping the weight in the heels. Looking up as the arms come back to the side. And then once more, look up as the hands go up, and look down as the hands come to the side. Letting your whole back get involved, but still keeping the weight in the heels. Good. And then release. Just bring your right arm out to the side and turn the thumb down so the shoulder rolls forward, and then just bring the back of the hand into the area of the lower back. And then just begin to make a few circles in the area of the lower back. And then just reverse the direction of those circles. And then begin to make this a more expansive reach. You're just trying to touch the other side of the back or the ribs as you're just reaching the hand, maybe up to touch the opposite shoulder, maybe the ribs out to the side, maybe to the opposite buttock and down the leg. Good. And then release. Take your other arm out to the side, turn the palm down by rolling the shoulder, bring the back of the hand to the area of the lower back, And then just begin to make some circles, just massaging yourself in one direction, and then just reverse the direction of those circles. Good. And then begin to make this a more expansive reach. So if you're in the shower just wanting to reach all the opposite side with the back of the hand, good, and let go. Now once more, bring one hand into the area of the lower back. Keep it there, and then begin to move that elbow back and release. So the elbow is just moving back and release. And can you notice how that shoulder blade is moving, squeezing towards the spine? So just by taking the elbow back, you're moving that shoulder towards the spine. And now can you think of initiating this with that movement of the shoulder to take the elbow back, release. So again, the shoulder blade, it won't look very different when I do it, but my shoulder blade is moving first, and then the elbow goes back and release. Now bring the other hand into the area of the back for somewhere comfortable. And again, first of all, just think of the elbow going back, release. Elbow going back and release. Elbow travels back in space and release. And now think it's your shoulder blade that squeezes back to the spine first to take the elbow back and release. So think you're trying to initiate this, keeping the weight in the heels, shoulder back to bring the elbow back, release. Now bring both hands into the area of the lower back. You can press the backs of the hands into the back. Now again, think of both elbows travelling back and release. So both elbows going back and release. So just so you can feel from the movement of the elbows that possibility of the shoulder blades squeezing together. As we all get older, this is an area of real challenge for many people. They forget that their shoulder blades can do this kind of action and release. And now think of initiating the taking of the elbows back by the shoulder blades squeeze, not up, squeezing together behind you to take the elbows back. So once more, shoulder blades squeeze together, and then the elbows can come together. Good, release. And once more, shoulder blades, elbows, good, and then release. Now please bring your one arm out to the side again. Turn the little finger side up towards the ceiling. Try to touch the ceiling with the hand. Turn the palm to the back of the room to bring those fingers between the shoulders. Other hand just supports the elbow, and you're just trying to see where you can comfortably reach or stroke with the hand on the opposite side of the body. Good. And then let go. And then the other arm comes out to the side. Turn the palm, extend it up towards the ceiling. Turn the little finger side towards the space behind you. Other hand just assists. And you're just reaching to whichever side the other side of the arm as far as you can comfortably get it. Good. And then release. Now pause. Keep your feet hip distance apart. And then just try to sit down into an imaginary chair and then come back up. Now as you sit back, make sure, so just pause for a moment. I think most of you know this by now. The thing to try and avoid is this. See, my knees coming forward over the toes, because that means all my weight is falling into the knee. Whereas if you can keep the head of the shin back and sit back in space, it means some of the weight is going behind the leg, some is coming in front, and you're using your gluteals as you squeeze the bottom together to come back up. So we're not falling, we're mastering our ability to move our weight without falling and then come back up. Good. Once more, just sitting down, try to keep the head of the shin back. So if you only get down an inch, that's much better than doing this, falling and then come back up. Now pause, try and bring your feet together this time. Same thing though, but make sure you're pressing down through the ball of the big toe, so you're not doing it on that little toe side of the foot. And again, just see if you can sit down, wherever you can comfortably go is fine, and then come back up. So just going to do 2 more, just sitting down, good, and then come back up, good, and then once more just sitting down, nice easy breathing, and then come back up to centre, good. Just separate the feet for a moment, good. And then if you can, cross your left foot in front of your right and then come back. So you're just crossing your left foot in front of the right and then come back. Left foot in front of the right and then come back. So don't make this extreme. So just try and keep it nice and easy. So right foot in front of the left and then come back. Right foot in front of the left and then come back. Right foot in front of the left, good, and then come back. And then once more, cross your left foot in front of the right. Now, as you do this, if you need a bit of wall beside you or something to hold on to, that's absolutely, I'm just scratching my knee there, that's absolutely fine. But check that you're not gripping the thighs together to try and hold you in this position. I'll just show that from the side. And then see, can you just bring the weight into the forward foot and then back into the back foot. So you're leaning to bring the weight into the forward foot and leaning to bring the weight into the back foot. Once more, just coming forward to bring the weight into the front foot and back into the back foot. And then pause and then see, can you do the same, keeping the head more or less quiet by letting your tailbone curl under, tailbone stick out, tailbone under and tailbone out. Once more, tailbone under, good, and then tailbone out, good. Come back and then undo. And then please cross your right leg just in front of the left. So again, careful, don't make it too extreme. If you need to have it further away from you, that's fine. Careful you're not gripping into the inner thigh muscles. And then first of all, just see, can you lean forward to bring the weight into the front foot. Okay, lean back to bring the weight into the back foot. So just nice and easy breathing, looking forward on the horizon, back into the back foot, whoops. And then see, can you keep the head more or less in the middle as you're transferring the weight into the front foot by tucking under and then into the back foot. So take your time to do this, keeping a softness in the knees, a softness in the breath, and a softness in the jaw, good, and then release. Good. Now, please, so I'm just going to turn to the side so that you can see. Can you take your left foot back and then come back to centre? So your left foot goes back and then come back to centre. Good. So left foot back and then stay with the foot back, and then looking forward, can you bring that knee down towards the floor and then come back up. Now, just have a look for a moment. So when I do that, see, what you have to make sure of is actually your weight, your chest, the middle of your chest has turned towards the right knee, If you try and keep the weight over on the left leg, it'll be super hard. So you're bringing the weight over onto or you're turning a little bit towards the right knee. And what happens as that knee goes down, can you see I'm leaning forward so that my hands can come to the floor. And then to come back up, I make sure my weight is over the right leg and then come straight back up. Good. And then take your left leg back. So my weight is kind of already, it's over the right leg. I bend the knees to allow that knee to come down. Bring the hands to the floor. Good. Stay here. Can you take your right leg back to where the other foot is, and then bring the pelvis down to come into our side sitting position. And then you bring the hands to the left again, lift the head and the pelvis to come back onto the knees, bring the right foot forward by the hands, come up into your knight's position, lean out and over the right leg to come back up to standing. Good. And then release. Let's do that to the other side. So I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see. So first of all, you take your right leg back, and then come forward. Right leg back, good, and then come forward, good. Right leg back. Now I've turned towards my left leg, and if you'll notice, my head has come forward over the foot, over the left foot, and then you bring the back knee down as you bring the hands to the floor. See if you can then take your left leg back into our side sitting position. Good. And then bring the hands back to the floor, lift the head and the pelvis to bring your left foot forward. You organise so that your weight is over that left leg, you curl the back toes under, and then come straight back up to standing. Good. And then release. Good. Just stand for a moment, that's it. Feet hip distance apart. Inhale to bring the arms up and exhale down. Good. And then one more time, keeping the weight in the heels and down. Good. And then last time, inhaling up and exhaling down. Good. And then give yourself a